will be the Wildcats. Jason Altman, who could put a couple in the end zone. And we're about to get underway live here at Clinton Field here, jam-packed, the Wildcats and the Clinton Dragons, and we're about to get underway. As I mentioned, it's Brittle and Smith back to receive the kick for the Clinton Dragons. The fans are on their feet, and this one's about to get underway. The Wildcats kicking from right to left, and here's the kick by Jason Altman. He hits it high, he hits it long. It'll be fielded at the 5, to the 10, to the 15, to the 20-yard line. Up the middle he goes, and Brett Kennedy makes the tackle. Fumble on the play, recovered by Clinton at the 30-yard line, and they'll take over. First down, 10 yards to go.
Well, David, Clinton fumbled that football, but the Dragon player was right there to pick it up for Clinton. Had he picked up that football and still had some momentum and still had his legs under him, that could have been a big play for the Dragons if he picks that up and goes all the way. I'm not exactly sure what the rules there are on the returnable fumble or not, but the Dragons nevertheless recover, and we'll start this one off. First down, 10 from the 30-yard line.
Quarterback is Brennan Jones, a 6-foot, 170-pound sophomore, and up to the line of scrimmage he'll come. First down, 10 yards to go, and the handoff goes, boom, big stick at the line of scrimmage, hard stick by the left side of the Oak Ridge line. It'll be second down, 10 yards to go.
Well, that's just great pursuit right there, David. Just a host of Wildcats in on the tackle. The defensive line got good penetration, and the linebackers came in strong to finish them off. You can't really single out one individual there because just about everybody was in on that stop.
And indeed only, well, they're going to give him about, I guess, a yard or so on the play. It'll be second down, about 8 yards to go, just underway. 11:05 to play in the first quarter. Single running back behind Brennan Jones. Two receivers to the left, a single man to the right. Jones will pass, batted down at the line of scrimmage by the Wildcats, Eric Clemens, I believe, or it's Kenneth Jackson, I believe. And it'll be third down and 8 yards to go.
Well, the Wildcats are juiced in this one, no doubt about it, David. Whatever Coach Gaddis said to them before the game has got them fired up, because you can really just see it in the way they're playing and just busting the huddle there defensively, coming out there with a little more flair than they were in the first half of last week's game against Campbell County. And that time Eric Clemens did a great job of just looking into the eyes of the quarterback, getting up high and knocking down the pass.
Backfield split for the Dragons. Third down, 8 yards to go. And Jones will hand it off for no yardage. He's hit and dropped in the backfield. Big penetration by the Wildcats. The stop made by Oak Ridge's number 1 for the Wildcats, Mike Howard. And it'll be fourth down and about 10 yards to go. And the Wildcat defense looking very, very sharp on that opening drive.
Oh, there's no question about it, David. They looked great there on the opening drive. Mike Howard, as Clinton tried to come with the trap, Mike Howard was just too quick. The blockers just didn't get to him in time. He made a great read, slashed right up the middle, and tackled the ball carrier for no gain.
Jeremy Brittle will punt for the Clinton Dragons. DeAndre Johnson standing back at his own 35. Here's the kick, high, long, driving spiral. DeAndre fields it over his shoulder at the 25. Needs a block, turns it upfield. He's at the 30. Gives ground and is tackled at the 32-yard line. Heavy pressure applied upon him. The Dragons came down, and DeAndre unable to move the ball that far, but a good start for the Wildcats. First and 10, the line of scrimmage will be at their own 32. Up to the line will come the Wildcats here in a second. The center is Jody Dickens, a senior getting his first start since injuring his knee back in the spring. Up to the line, Oak Ridge. The quarterback is senior Jeff Miner. The backfield consists of the fullback William Dickey. The tailback is Sean Williams. The wide receivers are Doug Anderson and DeAndre Johnson. They're wide to the left side. Jeff Miner rolling out to his left side, looks down the field, he'll run, has blockers in front, cuts it up to the 35, hit hard at the 37-yard line by the Dragons. Stop is made by number 36, Michael Sievers. It'll be a gain on the play for the senior quarterback across the 35-yard line up to the 36. It'll be a gain of about 5. It'll be second down and about 5 yards to go.
Well, good decision that time by Jeff Miner, David, just to run with the football. Had a lot of green in front of him. Picked up a good gain there on first down for Oak Ridge. The Wildcats will have it here, second down, 6 yards to go.
Torrey Yancey wide to the right, DeAndre Johnson wide to the left. Oak Ridge from the eye, second down and 6. The pitch will go to Sean Williams. Cuts it to the inside, spins off a tackle, and then is tackled at the 38.5-yard line. It'll be third down and about 2 yards to go. Early on, these Dragons hitting hard here on the first series. Both teams fired up for this cross-county rivalry ball game here in Clinton.
Well, both teams are hitting hard, David, here very, very early. Each team with just one offensive possession. and there's already been a lot of good licks passed between the two teams. There's, you know, Jeremy Brittle, we pointed out the fact he's not a very big guy, 5'7", 150, but he showed a great leg on that punt. He really drove Oak Ridge back, and Clinton had good kick coverage as well, keeping DeAndre Johnson from getting to the outside.
Brett Kennedy and DeAndre Johnson wide to the right. Oak Ridge from the eye. Jeff Miner rolling out to his left. Will run. He's at the 40. Picks up a first down at the 45. Cuts to the outside, back inside. Flags are down. The Wildcats picked up the first down, but I think they're going to get a penalty called against them after Miner had picked up the first down.
Well, I believe this one's coming back, David, like you said, a clip against the Wildcats. A tough break as Oak Ridge had picked up the first down. A good run once again by Jeff Miner. Oak Ridge has run the bootleg here in the last couple of weeks with a lot of success throwing the football to Roy Howard, but Jeff Miner's found a lot of success running with the football here in the early going. He's had a lot of green in front of him, so Oak Ridge is certainly going to put the bootleg in the package for this week's ball game against Clinton.
8 minutes, 26 seconds to go here in the first quarter, just underway of a scoreless ball game. The Wildcats will have it third down facing Oak Ridge as, let's see, Doug Anderson will come back in from the sideline, brought from the head coach of the Wildcats, Coach Joe Gaddis. As I look across the field, no surprise, the Oak Ridge fans are packed in their stands. The band's in attendance. Oak Ridge will start this third down play at the 32, making it third down and about 9 yards to go. Scoreless ball game up to the line. Doug Anderson, wide receiver to the right. DeAndre Johnson here to the left, which is the near sideline. The Wildcats working from right to left. Backfield split, and Miner will pass. Has plenty of time. They'll set up the screen. Here it is to Roy Howard. He can't make the catch. It's incomplete. It'll be fourth down facing the Wildcats. Roy getting the screen and the inside screen. The pass deflected off his hands, defended quite well by the Clinton Dragons, and Oak Ridge will punt.
David, you can almost guarantee that after the first 2 weeks that Roy Howard has turned in, that Clinton is going to pick that up, and they're going to be all over him tonight. It's going to be tough for Oak Ridge to get him the football without a lot of guys around him. Clinton was going to prepare to try to stop Roy. There's no question about that. And that time, like you said, they did a great job of defending the screen, had a number of defenders out there.
Here's the kick by Roy, a long driving spiral. It's going to be fielded and fumbled by Brittle. Picks it up at the 20, giving ground to the right side. Tries to get it outside. He's going to be hit and dropped as he goes moving across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Nice return by Jeremy Brittle. I tell you, one of the things I guess you've seen immediately here when you come and broadcast a ball game from Clinton, everybody in the Clinton stands up right in front of the booth here, and sometimes it's hard to see. Fine return on a line drive punt that time by Roy Howard. Clinton will start their second offensive drive at their own 37-yard line, and they'll take it first down, 10 yards to go, 8:04 to play in the first quarter. Up to the line will come the Dragons. Brennan Jones at quarterback. They'll come from the eye. Single man wide to the right side. That's Matthew McGee. Single man wide to the left. From the eye once again. First down and 10. Handoff goes to the second man through. Is hit and dropped by the Wildcats' Brian Landry, along with Kenneth Jackson and another Wildcat, which appears to be Jeff Miner. It'll be on the play, no gain. It'll be for Clinton, second down, 10 yards to go.
Once again, an outstanding pursuit by the Wildcat defense, and again, the defensive line getting great penetration. Brian Landry getting in there, David stopping the ball carrier before they get started, making the big tackle, and of course Kenneth Jackson coming in to help finish him off.
Scoreless ball game. We're in the first quarter. Two receivers to the left. Second down and 10. The pitch will go to the tailback, who tries to get to the corner. In trouble. Now works the ball across the way. Drives for a first down. Close to midfield. It'll be first down, 10 yards to go for the Clinton Dragons. Very fine run that time by their tailback, Jeremy Brittle once again. It's first and 10 Dragons right at midfield. Fine run.
Well, it really was, and you know, we've talked a lot already in this ball game about Jeremy Brittle. He's not very big at all, but he will fight for every last yard. He's just got a huge heart. He's just going to keep those legs driving, and Oak Ridge is going to have their hands full stopping him tonight. Clinton's got a pretty big line, but they're good blockers. They're well schooled in the fundamentals. There's no question about that. Jim Gaylor does an outstanding job with his team, and it's going to be tough to stop Jeremy Brittle tonight.
Brian Fox, the fullback, and he gets the call. Moves forward to around the 45-yard line. Good hard run by Brian Fox, their fullback. Picks up about 5 on the play. It'll be second down and 5 yards to go. 6:57 to play. We're in the first quarter live here in Clinton. Jeff Wise, our engineer, back to the station. Our statistician tonight is Mike Sheehan. This is David Clary along with Michael Langenberg. We're glad you've tuned in. Later on, Mike McNeely will have scores of other games across the area tonight in East Tennessee as well, and across the great state of Tennessee. The Dragons second down, a long 4 to go for a first. Backfield split. Single man wide to the right side. Scotty Harrell, single man to the left. The quarterback hands it off to the tailback, who runs into Roy Howard, and Roy makes the stop at the, let's see, the 41-yard line, closer to the 42. It'll be third down and about 2 yards to go. The Wildcats and Dragons here, great rivalry that lasted all the way back to the very initial season. The Wildcats losing 2 to Clinton in 1943. Oak Ridge dominates the series, though. 23 wins. In fact, Michael Oak Ridge has won 19 out of the last 21 games played against the Dragons. 2 receivers to the right. Third down, less than 2 yards to go for a first, and the pitch will go to Brittle. Tries to get outside, makes a cut, drives in, and is stopped at the 40-yard line. It's second effort. The Wildcats got good penetration, but he was able to squirt free past, I believe, both Howards, Mike Howard and Roy Howard, and picks up the first down at the 40-yard line.
Well, David, Oak Ridge had certainly snuffed that play out with Roy and Mike Howard getting in the defensive backfield, but the two of them sort of ran into each other just enough to let Jeremy Brittle squeak on by. But it was almost a great play by the two Howards, Roy and Mike, but Jeremy Brittle squiggled through and picked up a first down.
Line of scrimmage, the Oak Ridge 40-yard line. Up to the line once again will come the Dragons, wearing their black jerseys with orange numerals with white trim. The Wildcats, red pants, white jerseys, cardinal numerals. Clinton first down, 10 yards to go at the 40. Here's movement on the line. They got back in time. Quarterback Brennan Jones rolling to his left. Here comes Kenneth Jackson. Wants to make the sack. Here's the pass. It's complete at the 25-yard line. Enough for another first down. Nice pass from Jones to the intended receiver, sophomore 5'6", 150-pounder Scotty Harrell. And it's 1st and 10 for the Clinton Dragons with 5 minutes and 17 seconds to play in the first quarter in a scoreless game.
Well, that was a nice-looking play that time by Clinton, David. They rolled Brennan Jones out of the pocket, tried to give him a little extra time. The Wildcats came with a blitz with Kenneth Jackson coming from the outside, almost got to him and sacked him from behind, but he got rid of the ball just as he took the hit and delivered it right on the money. Nice catch that time also by Harrell for, once again, first down yardage for Clinton.
From the 25-yard line, handoff Brittle. Up the middle, moves the ball to the 20-yard line. Gain of about 4 or 5 yards. Very hard running straight up the middle. The stop is made by the Wildcats as the play is, the pile is umpiled at around the 20-yard line, closer to the 21. The Wildcats, the tackle is made by Travis Maddox. Second down, a long 5 to go for a first.
You can guarantee, David, that Clinton's going to want to try to keep this ball on the ground and keep that clock running, try to keep the big players for the Wildcat offense off the field as much as possible. They're going to go with their strengths, running the football. They've already done a nice job here on this drive of just playing ball control, running the ball up the middle, trying to pick up what they can, and then with a nice little rollout pass.
Oliver Haluma wide to the right side. Brennan Jones will hand it off. This time, not a whole lot of yardage. He moves across the 20 down to the 19-yard line before the stop is made by the Wildcats. Clemens, Landry, and let's see, Jeff Miner, I believe, also around the stop. It'll be for Clinton. Third down, about 5 yards to go. 4 minutes to play. We're in the first quarter. Live here at Clinton Field. Next week, the Wildcats on the road at Central. We'll hope you'll join us. Line of scrimmage will be the 19-yard line. Third down, about 5. The Dragons moving from left to right. This is their second drive of the ball game. Up to the line they'll come. They'll send 2 receivers to the left. They are Scotty Harrell along with Matthew McGee. Backfield split. Fox and Brittle in the backfield. Brennan Jones will roll to his left, looks down the field, fires across the way, pass is caught. Once again, the receiver on his knees inside the 10-yard line. It'll be first down, goal to go for the Dragons at the 9. The receiver for the second consecutive time made the reception on his knees and picks up the first down.
Well, it's a good, smart play by the receiver, David. Instead of trying to bend down and catch a ball off his shoe tops, he just goes to his knees and brings it into his chest and picks up first down yardage. Once again, Jones rolls out, trying to just buy himself a little extra time. Again, Oak Ridge had pressure, and Mike Howard almost picked that pass off, David. He had made a nice read, but Jones put just enough zip on it to get it to the receiver for another Clinton first down.
The line of scrimmage will be the 9-yard line. First down, goal to go. Up to the line, they'll come from the eye this time. Brennan Jones will hand it off, and he runs forward to the 5-yard line. Another fine run. I tell you, Brennan Jones looks fairly sharp at quarterback as they run straight up the gut, moving the ball to the 5-yard line. Where it'll be second down, goal to go for the Clinton Dragons.
Well, David, he looks a lot like Brian Hatmaker. You know, he's a left-handed passer, just as Brian Hatmaker was, and he sort of carries himself out on the field a lot like Brian Hatmaker did last year for Clinton. And, of course, Hatmaker's a great quarterback, but Jones is just right there with him. He's looked very sharp and very comfortable here, not only in this ball game, but in the first 2 ball games for Clinton. He's certainly somebody that they're going to count on in the future very heavily because he's just a sophomore player. Second down, goal to go for the Dragons. 2 receivers to the right from the eye once again. Brennan Jones, handoff, tailback. That's Brittle. He's hit at the 3 or 4 yard line and driven back by the Wildcats. There for the stop, let's see, Eric Clemens along with Travis Maddox and a host of other Wildcats in there. It'll be third down, goal to go for Clinton. The ball at the 4-yard line, 2:05 to play. Timeout is asked for. Let's take one ourselves. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
To thwart the Dragon drive here. It's at the 4-yard line. 3rd down, goal to go. Clinton called the timeout. Receivers left and right. 2 minutes to play here in the first quarter of a scoreless ball game. Brennan Jones under center. And here is the pass into the end zone. Wide open. Touchdown, Dragons. The Dragons scored first with 1 minute and 59 seconds to play. Alan Wink on the reception, and it'll be touchdown, Dragons.
Well, David, I was just about to say look out for Alan Wink on this play. He's a big play person in this Clinton offense as far as the fact that they go to him quite a bit. He had about 5 or 6 catches last year against Oak Ridge, and the Wildcats were certainly conscious of the Jones to Harrell combination that's worked the last 2 times, but this time they just slipped the tight end right up the seam and zipped the pass right to him for a Clinton touchdown.
6-0 the score. They'll go for the extra point. It'll be Chris Bishop to hold. High snap. Here's the kick by Brittle. It's up, and it's good, but time on the field, our score. 1 minute, 59 seconds to play in the first quarter. Clinton on top, 7-0, and we'll be back in 60 seconds. Sheehan, he's on top of the roof, Michael. It's so crowded in here. Here's the kick by Clinton. Line drive kick will bounce and be fielded by Sean Williams at the 10, to the 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. He's got to go. He's at the 50, to the 40, to the 35, to the 25, 20, 15, 10. Touchdown, Oak Ridge. Sean Williams. What a fine kickoff return. He had a great kickoff return to start the Clinton game last year, and just like that, Oak Ridge to within 1 extra point of tying this ball game.
Well, David, that's 2 in a row that I was just about to say Sean Williams. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes all the way on this touchdown, on this kickoff return. Wildcats did a great job of setting up the wedge. Clinton attacked the wedge hard, but Oak Ridge was able to just open up just enough of a seam for Sean Williams to get through, and the Wildcats had great speed, obviously, and Sean Williams really showed off some of it there as he just really outran everybody in a major way.
To hold, the Wildcats trying to tie it at 7 here live in Clinton, and the Wildcats kicking into that end zone section, if you're familiar with this field. Lamuno to hold, Granger Marler to attempt. 7-6 to score. And here's the snap, low snap. Here's the kick. It's up, and it is good. But time on the field, our score. And we're back here in Clinton. Jason Altman to kick off for the Wildcats. 7-7 to score. And here's the sophomore's kick. It's high. It's long. It's fielded at the 7, to the 10, to the 15, to the 20, to the 25, to the 24-yard line officially. And that's where they'll take over. First down and 10 yards to go.
David, it's very funny to watch Oak Ridge here in their kickoff team as they execute their defensive schemes. But, you know, the last couple of weeks we've commented on Joe Gaddis running down the field and just busting up that wedge with just reckless abandonment. And, you know, he's been doing that all year long to this point in the first 2 ball games. But Clinton has obviously seen that on the films. They're having a guy that's trying to meet Joe Gaddis, you know, 10, 15 yards down the field after he starts running to try to keep him from getting down there and busting up the wedge. And first 2 times they've done actually a pretty good job of just slowing him down. And Clinton's gotten decent field position. It's just a fumble on the play. Jones picks it up, and he's going to eat turf as Oak Ridge has a big play. As Jones fumbles, the Wildcats drive him down to the turf as Eric Clemens sacks him after the fumble for a big loss.
And an excellent play for the Wildcats as the Dragons will now have it. Let's see, 2nd down. And let's see, about 20 yards to go officially. 54 seconds to play in the first quarter. And I tell you, the last time we were here, we only saw 1 touchdown scored in the ball game. We've already seen 2 here in this first quarter. We're down to 43 seconds to play in the first quarter. 7-7 the score. 2nd down, officially 17 yards to go. 2 receivers to the right. Backfield split behind Brennan Jones. And he'll pitch to his tailback, who'll run and will eat grass as he's tackled at the 18-yard line by the Wildcats. And the stop is made by Brian Landry, and Brian Landry's been all over the field tonight.
He really has, David. You know, I was watching him before the ball game, just walking around on the field, and he was one of those Wildcats that you could just sort of tell, you know, he wasn't jumping all around the field before the game. He just sort of had a look in his eye. You know, he looked like he was very confident and really ready to play the football game. No question about that. Is perhaps a timeout has been asked for. David, let's take one ourselves. We'll be back in 60 seconds. right on the far side, the Oak Ridge side. It's not packed like it has been in past years, but this crowd is very into the ball game, and everyone here is really into it, and it's very intense, and it's just a great atmosphere for a high school ball game.
Second down, 17 yards to go. Brennan Jones will pass, rolling out to the left, looks down the field. He's in trouble. Here's a pass, complete. Rick Kennedy on the stop at the 33-yard line, short of the first down by about 2 or 3 yards. And with 11:50 to play in the first half, fine gain on the third and long, but they're still short of the first. Right at the 32-yard line is where the stop is made. It'll be for the Dragons, fourth down and about 4 yards to go. And DeAndre Johnson will drop back to receive the kick for the Wildcats, and the Dragons will punt.
Well, David, that was a nice route that time by Harrell, the receiver. He and Jones seem to work real well together. Harrell is just a sophomore as well, so those two work really well together. That time he ran a nice route, and Jones didn't have a lot of room to throw it, but he zipped it in there. But like you said, just short of the first down, so Clinton's going to punt it away.
They're going to go for the fake. Here's the pass up for grabs. He can't make the catch. They go for it on fourth down. What a gamble that is. That'll give Oak Ridge great field position as they go for it. The man was open. Good play by the Dragons, but Oak Ridge is going to have great field position, and that gets a round of applause from the Clinton fans who approve of the fact that the Dragons going for it on the fourth down play.
I think that's a great call right there, David. I mean, I don't think anybody in the whole place was expecting it. And Jeremy Brittle, I mean, he's Mr. Everything for this Clinton team. He kicks extra points, punts. He looks like he could play quarterback as well. That time showed a nice arm going down the field with it. Unfortunately for the Dragons, it's just fell incomplete, we'll say, and the Wildcats take over here with great field position.
DeAndre Johnson and Brett Kennedy wide to the left. They'll pass. Minor across the way to DeAndre, who can't make the catch himself. Very seldom you see DeAndre drop one right in his hands. It'll be second down, 10 yards to go. Michael, it's 7-7. A very exciting first quarter. We'll have the scoring summary. We'll have Mike Sheehan's first half statistics at halftime. 11:39 to play, 7-7 the score. We'll also have scores of interest from other games from Mike McNeely back at the station. Torrey Yancey and DeAndre Johnson wide to the left. Let's see, Roy Howard's lined up here on the right side, which is the near sideline to us. William Dickey, the fullback. The tailback is Sean Williams, and Sean Williams gets the call. Big hole, 25, 20, cuts to the outside and back inside. Tackle to the 23, close to an Oak Ridge first down.
David, Sean Williams that time took the handoff right up the middle. The Wildcats opened up a big hole, got some good downfield blocks by his linemen. And you pointed out, you know, it's 7-7 at this point. I think it's very interesting to take a look at the way that Clinton scored. I mean, they just drove down the field very methodically, picked their way down the field, 4 first downs, and the completion into the end zone for the touchdown. While the Wildcats, their score came on an 81-yard kickoff return, and it's sort of been what's been matched up here. It's been Clinton's slow, methodical offense against the Wildcats' big play people, and so far that's been exactly how it's played out, with Oak Ridge scoring on a big play and Clinton the slow drive.
And it's a first down for the Wildcats as Doug Anderson brings in the play from the sideline. It's at the 23-yard line. The Wildcats with Anderson and DeAndre Johnson wide to the left. Roy's here on the right side. I formation. Dickey the fullback. The tailback is Williams. The pitch will go to Sean Williams, who's hit hard, and he moves the ball forward for maybe a yard at most. Nice play defensively by the Clinton Dragons. We're down to 11:05 to play, and a very tense ball game here in the first half. Two hard-hitting squads out here at Clinton Field tonight. You're listening to the game live on AM 1290 WATO. Next week we'll be on the road at Central. We'll hope you'll join us. Pre-game coverage begins at 6 o'clock. Wildcats with the ball at the 22. It'll be second down and about 10 yards to go, so not the best spot in the world for Sean Williams as DeAndre Johnson and Torrey Yancey drift off wide to the right, which is the near side. From the eye, Jeff Miner, the quarterback. Handoff, Sean Williams, and he's hit and dropped it around the 18-yard line. Tackled by the Dragons. Hard hitting. They came in with the blitz, and Sean Williams was able to run right past the man coming through. And let's see, Sean's okay. Ball's at the 18-yard line. Slow going here in this last few plays. It'll be third down and about 6 yards to go. 10:15 to play. First half, 7-7 the score.
Well, David, Woody Hill that time made the stop for the Dragons. He's a player that goes both ways for the Clinton Dragon team. And Oak Ridge, as we pointed out earlier in the pregame, they don't have a lot of players that are doubling up and going both ways, so we'll sort of monitor the fatigue factor as this ball game moves along. 3rd and 6, Jeff Miner will pass. Has Will Chambers blocking in front. Here's the pass to Roy. He's at the 10. He's at the 8-yard line. He's tackled there. Oak Ridge, first down, goal to go. Roy Howard on the reception. Did you see him just lower his shoulder, David, after he caught that ball, just buried a defensive back right down into the ground. He's so big and strong, and Jeff Miner that time real calmly and collectively just rolled out, put it right on the money to Roy, hit him right in stride. Big play for Oak Ridge on third down to pick up the first. They're in the driver's seat now to go in and score 6 points.
The Wildcats have knocked off the Dragons 19 out of the last 21 times they've played. Up the line will come Oak Ridge. Sean Williams and Dickey in the backfield. Roy's on the right. 2 receivers to the left, Yancey and DeAndre Johnson. Here's the handoff. Sean Williams. Sean Williams sees daylight. He sees a touchdown. Oak Ridge. Sean Williams scores, and the Wildcats take the lead 13-6. So they going for the 4th down play on the fake punt gives Oak Ridge great field position, and they capitalize and go into the end zone on the touchdown run by Sean Williams. 13-6. 7. The Wildcats on top. 9:29 to play.
Once again, a great run right up the middle by Sean Williams. David got some great blocks from his fullback, William Dickey. And I believe it was Brent Starr downfield, gave him a great block, and he just cut right off his hip, went right into the end zone for the touchdown.
It'll be Scott Lamuno to hold once again. John Dickens to snap. Granger Marler to attempt the extra point. Here's the snap. Here's the hold. The kick is up, and the kick is up and good. With time on the field, our score. 9:29 to play first half. Oak Ridge on top, 14-7, and we'll be back in 60 seconds. Wildcats ever had an outstanding athlete, went on to play college football. Here it's 14-7. Jason Altman to kick off for the Wildcats. Brittle back to receive the kick. Here's the kick. It's high and long, fielded at the 9. To the left side, 10. He falls down to the 15-yard line. Tough break for the Dragons. And Michael, you mentioned earlier that the field looked wet out there, and he just slid and fell down right at the 15-yard line. No contact, he just went down on his own.
Yeah, I jokingly made the comment, David, that the Clinton field managers probably had the sprinklers going all week long trying to wet down this field and slow down some of these speed burners for Oak Ridge. But, yeah, that time it looked like he just slipped and lost his feet, and he just an unfortunate break for Clinton because he looked like he had at least another 10 or 15 yards clear sailing ahead of him, but he just fell and dropped down at the 15-yard line where Clinton will take over here, first down 10.
Jeremy Brittle out of the ball game now. A new tailback in there, number 7, Sean Smith. I formation. The pitch will go to Smith. He wants to pass. He throws it quick. DeAndre Johnson can pick it off, and he does. At the 40-yard line. Back he goes to the 35. Looks for a wall. Turns it upfield 30. To the 25. To the 20. To the 15-yard line. And he's tackled by the Dragons. And tempers flaring across the way. Interception by DeAndre Johnson. He might have fumbled it at the end of it. We'll have to check the call. A big stick. Clinton fans extremely ecstatic over something, and they're going to say that Oak Ridge indeed fumbled it. DeAndre gets credit for another interception, and he lost the ball. The Wildcats had it inside the 20. The Dragon offense, first down, 10 yards to go at the 12.
Well, that's an unfortunate break, of course, for Oak Ridge, David, after DeAndre picks it off, and then a hard stick by Clinton forces another fumble, and the Dragons were able to recover. But Clinton that time, once again, going with a halfback pass, trying to catch the Wildcats napping, but DeAndre made the great play, stayed at home, and had the pick off.
Brennan Jones, the quarterback, back to split. The pitch goes to the tailback. He looks for a hole, moves the ball upfield, and is tackled at around the 11-yard line. The Wildcats swarm for the stop with
Mike Howard, David, once again. He's just all over the place. He's in on just about every tackle, either a solo or an assist. He's just there all over the place. Of course, against Jefferson County, the first week of the season, had 17 tackles, 14 of which were solo tackles, 3 assists. Last week against Campbell County, had another great game, 6 solo tackles and a number of assists. So Mike Howard, he's just all over the place all the time. A great linebacker for Oak Ridge.
Second down, 10 yards to go from the 11-yard line. The backfield split, receivers left and right. Quarterback hands it off. Big stick right at the line of scrimmage again on the tailback. Shannon Porter there for the stop for the Wildcats. Hard stick that time by Oak Ridge. And the Dragons with their backs to the wall at the 11-yard line. It'll be with 7:37 to play. Back in the ball game, Scotty Harrell of the Dragons. And out of the contest will come Brian Martin. It'll be third down about, let's say, 10 yards to go. 7:25 and counting live here in Clinton. A very steamy night here, very humid here, at least in the press box. Probably much nicer outside. Brennan Jones to the line, third down 10, 2 receivers to the left. And Jones will pass. Rolling to his left, looks down the field. The lefty comes out with a pass. The man is there. The pass is incomplete. Defending for the Wildcats is Jamie Martin, number 2. It'll be fourth down and 10 facing the Dragons. And once again, the Wildcats will drop somebody back to receive the kick. And it looks like that'll be, I guess, Mike Gibson, I thought. DeAndre Johnson not in the ball game presently. He was hit hard on that fumble on the last interception. It'll be Mike Gibson, who incidentally returned 2 punts last week in the junior varsity game for touchdowns against Campbell County. It'll be Brittle to punt from the goal line. 4th down, about 10. I doubt they'll go for it on this play, and I think Clinton wants to call a timeout. Let's take one ourselves. 7:08 to play first half. 14-7 Oak Ridge, back in 60. Jeremy Brittle to punt, low snap. Here's the kick by the Dragons. High, wobbly kick. Mike Gibson lets it bounce to the 50. Tries to go after it. Now needs to fall on it because he might have touched it, but evidently not. It's going to roll dead and be downed at the 30-yard line, and that's indeed where the Wildcats will take over. First down, 10 yards to go.
That's an extremely heady play that time by Mike Gibson, David. That's just a great punt by Clinton that time. A line drive towards the sideline that then bounced back in towards the middle of the field, and it had a lot on it. And Mike Gibson, being a sophomore, you know he wants to make a big play here in his first opportunity to return a punt in a big-time situation here against Clinton in a varsity contest. You know he wants to make a big play, but that time he didn't want to risk picking it up and fumbling the ball. Just got away from it, made a smart play. He knew the ball was going to roll downfield, maybe 10 or 15 more yards, but he wasn't going to give it back to the Dragons. Didn't pick it up as a smart play, I think, by the sophomore Mike Gibson.
It's good to see DeAndre Johnson in the ball game. He, along with Brett Kennedy, wide to the left side, and here comes the pass across the way. Roy Howard up for it, can't make the play. That time thrown in triple coverage, and I guess they throw it that way because usually Roy can go up and get about anything. That time the pass is incomplete.
Yeah, tough break for Oak Ridge, David. That time the Dragons once again did a good job of putting a good coverage on Roy Howard, but Roy at 6'4" has great leaping ability. A lot of times he's going to go up and make that catch, but the Dragons did a good job of defending it, batting it down, and creating the incompletion. Second down, 10, Oak Ridge.
And up to the line once again will come the Wildcats. Jeff Miner from the eye. Hands it off to his tailback, who's met hard at the line of scrimmage and driven back by a host of Clinton Dragons. 14-7 our score. 6:35 to play. That time, Sean Williams had no place to go but right into the hands of the black and orange.
Yeah, good defense that time by Clinton, David. Good pursuit. The man that first got there to tackle Sean Williams did a good job of just stopping him there in his tracks. That's not easy to do at all. Sean Williams gets a head of steam going. He's tough to bring down in a one-on-one situation. The Clinton man just stood him up, did a good job there, and then he had a lot of help coming with some good pursuit from the Clinton defenders to help bring him down.
William Dickey, the fullback. The tailback is Sean Williams. Two receivers to the left. Jeff Miner will pass, has plenty of time, goes down the way to Roy. The pass up for grabs and incomplete. And the Wildcats will be forced to punt. That one just a little bit overthrown, and Roy will have to stay in the ball game to punt the ball away. 5 minutes, 58 seconds to play in the first half. 14-7, Oak Ridge on top. At halftime, we'll be looking at Mike Sheehan's statistics. We'll also look at the scoring summary, and I had a little talk with Coach Joe Gaddis about what he feels like coaching his son, and we'll hear his comments on that subject as Roy Howard will punt the ball away. Brittle back at the 30. Here's the snap, pressure, the kick. High, little off his foot. It's going to go out of bounds, well out of bounds around midfield. They're going to step it up to the 45-yard line. Great field position for the Dragons. Coach Gaylor told me in the pregame that he felt that the only way his team could win was they were going to have to get field position at times around midfield because he didn't feel that he could drive down the field against the Wildcats. Obviously, they did have a good drive for their only score, but good field position for the Dragons. The Wildcat defense back on the field. 14-7, typical Oak Ridge Clinton ball game here from the Cracker Box here in Clinton, Tennessee. 5:49 to play here in the first half. The Dragons to the line. Single man wide to the right side. Oliver Haluma. Single man wide to the left side once again. That's McGee from the eye. Brennan Jones at quarterback. Four-man front for the Wildcats. And Brennan will hand it off to Brittle. Brittle to midfield and tackled at that point by the Wildcats. Let's see, there for the stop, Shannon Porter along with, looks like Brian Landry, and Brian Landry might be limping out of it. Tackle, he's trying to shake things off. He'll stay in the ball game. 5:32 to play in the first half, a 5-yard gain for the Dragons. They're right at midfield, moving from right to left as we look from the home side here in Clinton. Up to the line they'll come. Single receiver to the left side once again. Single man to the right. From the eye, second down along 5. From right at midfield, Brennan Jones to Brittle. Handoff straight up the middle for hard 3 yards as he was hit and knocked down Travis Maddox along with Brian Landry once again. It'll be third down and about 2 yards to go. 5 minutes to play, 14-7 Oak Ridge.
What Brian Landry, David, you said earlier, he has really been all over the place. He's made a lot of nice tackles, and a couple of plays ago, he came out of the pile limping pretty bad, so he's out there playing hurt, it would appear, and he's still doing an outstanding job fighting off his block and making some tackles, doing a great job from his defensive tackle position.
from the, 47-yard line. Third down, about 3. Backfield split. 2 receivers to the left. Brennan Jones and the Dragons rolling to his left, looking down the field. Might run, cuts it inside, hit hard. Shy of the first down at around the 46-yard line. About a yard short. It'll be 4th down and a yard to go.
Big hit that time by Kenneth Jackson, David. He hit Brennan Jones just as he was heading towards the sideline, sort of pushed him back just a little bit and knocked him out of bounds. I'm not exactly sure whether or not it's going to be a first down or not with the measurement. We'll just have to wait and see when we come back after this 30-second timeout. Really was, David. Neither one of us thought that he had made it. In fact, I thought it was maybe close to a yard short, but I guess his forward progress was beyond the first down marker. As once again, Clinton will hand it off to Brittle. Brittle doesn't have very much yardage as all. There's a fumble on the play. The Wildcats pounce on it, and they'll have the ball. Let's see, first down, 10, Oak Ridge.
Coming up with the ball, let's see. I didn't quite see who came up with the ball. Indeed, it was a Wildcat. You were able to get it, Michael. Oak Ridge will take over at the 45-yard line. So the Dragons, who have been snakebit with turnovers in last year's season, Coach Gaylor was telling me, and last week against Powell, turns the ball over again, and Oak Ridge takes over at their own 45-yard line. 4:18 to play in the first half. The Wildcats on top. Up to the line, Jody Dickens, the senior center. DeAndre Johnson wide to the left. Doug Anderson wide to the right. I formation, Oak Ridge. Jeff Miner to his fullback, William Dickey, close to midfield, tackled at the 48-yard line. It'll be a gain on the play of about 3 or so. It'll be 2nd down and 7. 3 minutes, 58 seconds to play first half. 14-7 Oak Ridge.
Wouldn't be at all surprised, David, to see Oak Ridge go to DeAndre Johnson, maybe Mike Gibson or Torrey Yancey on this drive. Try to get the ball in the hands of one of their wide receivers. Perhaps, maybe not on this play, but here on this drive sometime. Wouldn't be surprised to see Oak Ridge go deep to one of their big play receivers.
Mike Gibson, sophomore, wide to the right side, which is the near side closest to us. Wide to the left side, a single man for the Cats. Backfield split. Miners pass intended for Mike Gibson. Incomplete. It'll be 3rd down, 5 yards to go. 3:26 to play. 14-7, the Wildcats on top.
Clinton's defense has done a good job, David. The Wildcats scored on a big run by Sean Williams, an 81-yard kickoff return. That, of course, a special teams touchdown. And then the Wildcats had great field position after Clinton went for it on 4th down with a fake punt. They were unsuccessful, so Oak Ridge took over with great field position. And Sean Williams scored on a couple plays later. But other than that, Oak Ridge really hasn't driven down the field at all against this Clinton defense. They've done a good job.
Keith Thrift and Doug Anderson wide to the left side. Miner rolling to his left, looks down the field across the way to Roy Howard. Nice catch. 35 to the 30. Down he goes inside the 30. First down, 10 yards to go for the Wildcats. Fine pass, Jeff Miner. Nice reception, Roy Howard. 1st and 10, Wildcats.
That may be one of the best passes Jeff's thrown all year long, David. He was rolling to his left. Nothing was opening up. Clinton had covered the play very, very nicely. He continued to roll to his left. Didn't have a lot of running room in front of him, so he knew he just had to wait and be patient back there as he rolled and continued to roll to his left. Finally waited for Roy Howard to clear and then zipped the ball right on the money for a big first down.
Line of scrimmage, the 27-yard line of the Dragons. It'll be first down, 10 yards to go. Thrift wide to the right side along with another Wildcat. The pitch will go to Williams. Makes a move at the 25, and that's about as far as he goes as the Dragons grab him and drive him back. Sean Williams has been knocked around pretty good in this ball game. We'll have the halftime statistics provided by Mike Sheehan here in a few short minutes as the scoreboard now goes out. So I have no idea how much time is left on the clock. I know the score, though, Michael. It's 14-7. The officials pointing to the scoreboard. It's out. And they're going to high school was over there to make the play against the scoreboard. Somebody had turned it off, and Tom Wade is there to make the play. Nice play, Tom. It'll be the Wildcats at the 25-yard line. Eventually, Wildcats will have the ball 2nd down and about 7 yards to go. They're going to have to, I don't know if it's exactly 3 minutes. They're going to start the clock now. It'll wind down here. It'll be for the Wildcats. 2nd down, 7 yards to go. Wide to the right side, Joe Storch along with another Wildcat. And then let's see, they couldn't get the clock to start now, and they'll stop once again. Now it starts. He's talking to Dan, the courier man down there. 2:58 to go. It'll be at the 25-yard line, 14-7, the Wildcats on top. The Dragons scored first. The Wildcats just seconds later returned the kickoff all the way for a touchdown. The Wildcats tacked on another score, and Oak Ridge leads 14-7. Sean Williams has to have fond memories of this place in his sophomore year, and after this play, Michael, I'll come back to that as the Wildcats come to the line. Looks like Bo McGregor's the fullback, and I'm sure that's Bo inside at fullback. Michael Langenberg, Sean Williams the tailback. Jeff Miner at quarterback, 2 receivers to the right. Jeff will run. He's at the 20-yard line, lowers his shoulder, and is tackled after a gain of only about 3 yards. It'll be 3rd down and about 5 yards to go. 2:40 to play in the first half. The Wildcats on top 14-7.
Once again, David, Clinton closes a hole pretty quickly. Jeff Miner coming out, reversing and running the option, coming here to the near side, made a good decision to cut it up after a nice fake. Didn't look like a lot of running room was there, but with the way he faked the ball really got the defense to bite for it. Then he cut it up, made a nice run, and then Clinton closed quickly to keep the Dragons from picking up many more yards.
And here comes the handoff to William Dickey, and he'll score. Touchdown, Oak Ridge. William Dickey scores, and the Wildcats have another score. And let's see, with 2:09 to play, William Dickey on the carry, and he scores. Very similar to its touchdown run last week against the Campbell County Patriots. We apologize, we had a little technical problem there. And we're back here, and the Wildcats will go for the extra point. It'll be Granger Marler to attempt. It'll be Scott Lamuno to hold. The touchdown run by William Dickey of the Wildcats, and Oak Ridge leads now 20-7. John Dickens to snap, Lamuno to hold. Granger Marler to attempt, heavy pressure. Here's the kick, it's high, it's long, it's up and good. And the Wildcats lead it by a score of 21-7, and we'll be back in 60 seconds. David Clary along with Michael Langenberg. Jeff Wise, our engineer, back to the station. Here's Jason Altman, the sophomore, to kick off. It's going to be fielded at the 7, to the 10, to the 15, 20. Tackled at the 22-yard line by the Wildcats, and therefore the stop for Oak Ridge. Let's see, Altman perhaps the kicker, Mike Gibson along with William Dickey as well down the field. It'll be first down, 10 yards to go for the Clinton Dragons. 2:02 to play, 21-7. We apologize for any technical problems we had just a second ago, but William Dickey had the touchdown run.
It was a great call by Oak Ridge, David. The Wildcats had kind of lulled Clinton's defense to sleep, so to speak, by giving the ball to Sean Williams and going outside with Roy Howard. And they'd sort of forgotten about William Dickey, and the Wildcats just slipped him right up the middle with a nice little quick opener. Outstanding job as Dickey went in for the 21-yard touchdown.
Shotgun formation, Brennan Jones, pass incomplete. The man was open at around the 34-yard line, but Oliver Haluma couldn't hold on to it. It'll be second down and 10 yards to go. 1:39 to play in the first half here at Clinton. The Wildcats on top 21-7. We'll have a scoring summary and look at the statistics at halftime as provided by Mike Sheehan. We've got to thank him because he just kind of stepped in an emergency for our stat keeper, and we're able to get him to do our stats, and we'd like to thank him. Shotgun once again for the Dragons, I believe. Quarterback back at the 15-yard line, raises his left leg. 4-man front, Oak Ridge. He'll go with a shovel pass, and it goes no place. The Wildcats all over it at around the 18-yard line. Brittle on the carry, and John Dickens is there for the stop amongst others. The Wildcats making a big stick there. It'll be third down, and I might think about calling a timeout right here. And let's see, timeout is going to be called by the Wildcats. Let's take one ourselves. 21-7, Oak Ridge back in. Third down, 13 yards to go for the Clinton Dragons from the eye. 2 receivers to the right. Quarterback Brennan Jones rolling to his right, feeling some pressure. There's all kinds of holding. Here's a sack. A fumble recovered by the Wildcats at the 19-yard line. Big stick for the Oak Ridge team.
Yeah, it was Cliff Strunk, David. Outstanding job, outstanding closing speed. You see him just really track down Brennan Jones before he hadn't had a chance to get out of the pocket. Outstanding job by Strunk. He really showed some good speed, some long strides, and really blasted the quarterback big time, caused him to fumble, and the Wildcats pounce on it. Huge break for Oak Ridge. They have a chance here, David, a great chance to put another score on the board, be it a 3-pointer or a touchdown. Big play for Oak Ridge.
From the 19-yard line, up to the line, Doug Anderson, wide to the right side, DeAndre Johnson wide to the left. We're down to a minute to go, and a timeout is going to be asked for by the Clinton Dragons. 21, DeAndre Johnson. Looks like Brett Kennedy. Backfield split for Oak Ridge. Senior quarterback Jeff Miner will pass across the way. It goes to DeAndre at the 15-yard line. Nice play by the Dragons. It was Doug Anderson as the other receiver. The Wildcats quickly to the line. It's now second down, 10 yards to go. The Wildcats well in the field goal range. Wildcats with 45 seconds to play. Dickey, the fullback, the tailback is Sean Williams. From the 15-yard line, Miner rolls to his left. Gets a block, goes into the end zone to Roy. He's got it. Touchdown, Oak Ridge. Roy Howard on the touchdown reception, and Oak Ridge rolls up another score, and they lead it by a score now of 27-7 with 33 seconds to play.
Great pass once again by Jeff Miner, David, and And boy, he just really gets comfortable as the game goes along and really starts to look good as the further and further the game goes along. That was just a great pass over the defense, lofted it high, and of course Roy Howard there with the touchdown catch. Outstanding play calling by the Wildcats. 2 consecutive plays in a row. They went with the quick hitter to DeAndre for 5 yards, then went in the back of the end zone to the big Roy Howard, the big tight end, for the touchdown. The extra point is up and good, and Oak Ridge leads it 28-7.
And we'll be back in 60 seconds.
It looks like the Wildcats may go with a potential onside kick of some sort here. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see if they go with the pop-up.
Granger Marler will indeed do the honors. 28-7 the score. They do pop it up here on the sidelines, and the catch is not made. It goes out of bounds. Flags are down on the play, and of course it goes out of bounds, and that's a penalty against the Wildcats, as Granger wanted to pop it up pretty much in that area, and the Wildcats used that play a number of years ago. I can't remember the kicker. It might have been Brian Seals who did such a good job on that little kick. 33 seconds to play, 28-7, and Granger will either kick it off again or they'll take the ball at around the 35-yard line.
I believe it was McKeever Marler, Granger's brother. He did an outstanding job with that kick as well. Oak Ridge used that play quite a bit over the past few years. Last year they didn't use it as much, and they haven't used it yet this year, but that time trying to get the big play, maybe try to create Clinton to fumble the football away, or maybe even just pounce on it like an onside kick. A smart play by Oak Ridge. Clinton takes over, first down at the 38-yard line.
Up to the line they'll come. Let's see. The quarterback for them is still Brennan Jones. Took a hard hit after the last time. Here comes heavy pressure. Here's a pass complete to Brittle at the 40, to the 45. Big stick, Mike Howard right there on the stop, along with Brian Landry and Brett Kennedy. Kenneth Jackson also around the play. It'll be with 19 seconds to go. Short of the first down. Well, depending on the spot, they've had some good ones tonight. I think they want to call for a measurement, but it's still short. The clock continues to tick down. 13 seconds and counting. It'll be second down, 2 yards to go from the 47-yard line. 28-7 Oak Ridge, and that'll be the final play of the first half. So the Wildcats will go into the locker room with a 28-7 lead. So started out a little hairy for the Wildcats. 28-7.
David, yes, they do. Coach Gaylor is talking to Jeremy Brittle. Yeah, you're right, David. Oak Ridge has some big special teams plays. They've scored on some turnovers. They've done an outstanding job. Looks like Clinton may be setting up for what looks to be some sort of an onside kick here to start the second half. David, quickly while I have a chance, the Riverdale Gallatin game should be a great one in Middle Tennessee. I guess that's sort of the game of the state tonight, but the game of the region is certainly this one right here, Oak Ridge and Clinton. Looks like the Dragons are going for the onside.
Jeremy Brittle has the ball on the tee, and we're about to get underway. Sean Williams creeping in at the 10-yard line, but we don't think it's going to go that far. Let's see what Brittle can do here. Kicking from the 40. He does hit it long. It's going to be fielded by Oak Ridge at the 15, to the 20, to the 25, up to the 26-yard line, and that's where the Wildcats will take over. First down, 10 yards to go.
Mike Howard with the return that time. David got across the 25-yard line. I thought there for a second he was going to pitch it back to Sean Williams and let Sean take off with it, but Mike just tucked it under, ran right up the middle, got behind his blockers, and gave Oak Ridge once again good field position.
Up the line of scrimmage will come the Wildcats. First down, 10 yards to go. Just underway again here in the second half. Up to the line will come Brett Kennedy wide to the right. DeAndre Johnson wide to the left. Single receivers left and right from the Oak Ridge. And Jeff Miner will hand it off to Sean Williams, who gets around the end. No, he's going to be grabbed down perhaps by the face mask. We might have seen another clip or so on the play against the Wildcats, but Sean Williams was tackled hard on the play, but a flag went down quickly on the turf.
Well, it did, David. This one's going to go against Oak Ridge. It looks like a holding against the Wildcats. And boy, I didn't see the player who made the tackle on Sean Williams that time, but it had to be a pretty fast player because he kind of grabbed Sean as he was trying to get to the outside and dragged him down. That's not an easy thing to do. We've seen Sean Williams outrun an awful lot of players in his 3-year career here at Oak Ridge. That time the Clinton player did a good job of bringing him down, but I guess it all doesn't matter because there was a holding against Oak Ridge.
11 minutes, 29 seconds to play in the third quarter, 28-7. The Wildcats on top. Torrey Yancey wide to the right side, a single man wide to the left. Oak Ridge up to the line. Jeff Miner will be the quarterback. Now they're going to step the penalty off. After the Wildcats had already come to the line, they're going to step it back to the 17-yard line. Both teams had gotten ready to start once again, but they hadn't stepped the penalty off, and now they do, and the clock starts. 11:26 to play, third quarter, 28-7, the Wildcats on top. Next week will be at Central High School as the Wildcats take on the Bobcats, who are presently leading over Halls 21-7, as you heard Mike give the score a moment ago. Jeff Miner will pass, pumps once, goes down to Torrey Yancey, pass is incomplete. It'll be third down and long facing the Wildcats. Third down, 20 yards to go. We're live here on AM 1290 WATO. Tomorrow we'll have the Alabama-Arkansas ball game, the Falcons and the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday evening. And then Monday night it's the Oak Ridge Junior Varsity back here at Clinton against the Dragon Junior Varsity. Wildcats on top 28-7, trying to go 3-0, the number 2 ranked team in the state. Brett Kennedy wide to the right side, a single man wide to the left. Oak Ridge from the eye once again. Jeff Miner from the 17. The handoff will go to the fullback, who moves the ball forward, continuing to drive. That's, I guess, Dickey moving the ball to the 20-yard line, and it'll be third down and long facing the Wildcats.
Well, Oak Ridge ran that play, David, in the first half and got a 24-yard touchdown, actually a 21-yard touchdown run out of it. Now, the Dragons a lot of times are, of course, looking for Sean Williams, and William Dickey's got breakaway speed, so if he gets loose up the middle, he could go all the way on any given play, but that time the Dragon linebackers did a good job coming up to meet him before he could really have a chance to get going. He did pick up about 3 yards on the play, third down, and a long 10 yards for the Wildcats, actually 18 yards. Sorry, David.
2 receivers to the right side. Jeff Miner will pass, straight drop, has plenty of time, goes across the way to DeAndre, complete at the 40. First down, Wildcats to the 45, to the 46-yard line before he's tackled. Nice throw by Jeff Miner. DeAndre found a little seam, was able to make the catch in the center of the field and pick up the first down.
Well, Jeff Miner, David, he's just looking better and better with every snap. That was a great pass, right on the money. He just zipped it right across the seam. I mean, he really blistered that ball right under the shoulder pads of DeAndre Johnson, who made a great catch and made it all the way out to the 46-yard line. Big play for Oak Ridge. And, you know, that's about the third or fourth third down conversion that the Wildcats have had, and that's just going to do nothing but wonders for the confidence of this offensive football team.
From the 46-yard line, the pitch to Sean Williams. Sean Williams at the 47-yard line, gain of only 2 on the play. It's been slow going for the Wildcats senior tailback, who picks up a few more yards. Clock ticking down, 9:50 to play. We're in the third quarter, live here in Clinton. Next week, as I mentioned, we'll be at Central as the Wildcats take on the Bobcats in a big region ball game. Wildcats with the ball at the 47-yard line. Second down, 8 yards to go. Up to the line, Jody Dickens, the senior center. 2 receivers to the left as play is halted now because of an equipment problem, because of an injured Dragon who comes limping out of the game. And that's Sean Smith who comes out, and he's replaced. Up to the line, Oak Ridge. The backfield split with 2 receivers to the left. Oak Ridge quarterback Jeff Miner has some pressure. Here's the pass, incomplete. Intending it for Roy Howard, and he just couldn't quite make the catch. It'll be third down and about 8 yards to go.
David, while I have the opportunity, let's just point out how almost miraculous it is that Jody Dickens is out there snapping the football for Oak Ridge. I mean, here's a guy who was expected not to be back until October, and it's the middle of September, and he's out there starting the football game for Oak Ridge. And he was not expected to be back, if I'm not mistaken, until middle or late October, and here he is back in September playing a hard-nosed football for the Wildcats.
Brett Kennedy and DeAndre Johnson wide to the right. Jeff Miner rolling to his right, looks down the field, across the way to pass complete at the 50-yard line. The pass was complete to DeAndre Johnson, and William Dickey, the fullback out of the backfield, has that growth, as you mentioned, on the shoulder, as the shoulder pad kind of messing up his jersey number, but it's well short of the first down. It's 4th down and 4, and the Wildcats will be forced to punt. It'll be Roy Howard into the ball game, and he'll punt the ball away to the Clinton Dragons, and they'll send this time number 22, Oliver Haluma, back to receive the kick. Just about everybody on the line. Quick snap. Here's the kick by Roy. End over end, long kick. Haluma will let it bounce at the 5. It bounces to the 3, to the 2, to the 1. It rolls dead at the 1. Haluma gave up on it too early, and Oak Ridge downs it at the 1-yard line. The Dragons, with their backs to the wall, will send their offense on the field once again. First down, 10 yards to go.
What a great punt that time by Roy Howard, David. He just really hit that one just right as it hit the ball, hit down about the 10-yard line, bounced real high, and just sort of died there right at about the 3-yard line, and then just weaseled its way down to about the 2, all the way down to the 1-yard line. A huge punt, and Clinton is really backed up here. Their options are, of course, very limited because Oak Ridge had a great pass rush in the latter portions of the first half. If they bring Brennan Jones back to pass, they could risk a safety, but if they run it up the middle, the Wildcat pursuit has been great. This is a deep hole for the Dragons.
Brennan Jones from the 1-yard line. 8:22 to play. Handoff goes straight up the middle to their running back, who moves the ball forward.
Quarterback sneak that time for Brennan Jones. He just took it and ran right up the middle with it.
Thanks a lot, Michael. Couldn't tell here from my vantage point. I guess these eyes are beginning to age here as he does move the ball to the 5-yard line. 8 minutes to play, third quarter. 28-7 the score. Checking the starters for the Wildcats. Cliff Strunk in there for the Wildcats. Defensive end on the right side. On the left side for the Wildcats, Eric Clemens. We'll check the other lineman here in a second. Second down, 7 yards to go. Backfield split. Brennan Jones will pass across the way. Complete at the 15, to the 20, to the 24-yard line. First down, 10 yards to go. Nice play by the Dragons as Alan Wink is on the end of the Brennan Jones reception. First down, 10 yards to go.
Once again, a nice pass for the Dragons, David. They went with a quick pass. As I said earlier, Oak Ridge had good pursuit all night long, a good pass rush, but that time Clinton just went with a quick pass to Wink, slashing down the seam as a big reception. He's a good receiver, able to run with the football after he catches it. He's a good tight end.
7:29 to play in the third quarter. First down and 10 for the Dragons at the 24. Brennan Jones rolling to his left, looking down the field. Will go up the field. DeAndre Johnson, incomplete. He was defending against the intended receiver, Matthew McGee. The ball overthrown, incomplete. It'll be second down, 10 yards to go.
DeAndre David had good coverage that time, and Jones showed a good arm rolling to his left. Just really let it loose and almost completed that pass. Put a lot of air underneath it, but it was well overthrown, and DeAndre was there anyway, so it's hard to say he would have completed it, but a good arm by Brennan Jones.
7:15 to play third quarter. 28-7, the Wildcats on top. Mike Sheehan, our statistician tonight. Jeff Wise, our engineer, back at the station, along with Mike McNeely. We'll get other scoring updates from him momentarily. From the eye, second down, 10. And the quarterback will pass. Now in trouble. Turning to his left, feeling pressure, feeling the pass. He incompletes it. Intended for a receiver here in front. DeAndre Johnson on the deflection.
Well, the Wildcats that time defensed that play nicely, David. They tried to get it to Wink once again, coming down the seam, and the Wildcat linebacker, I believe it was Kenneth Jackson, was just right in his jersey. There's no way they could complete that pass. It really sort of busted up the play. Jones had to look to a secondary receiver, and at that point, the Wildcats had got pressure in the backfield, and Jones was just sort of in no man's land. Finally ended up getting rid of it down the field. The Wildcats had cover him in there, and almost came away with the interception.
Up to the line will come the Dragons once again. Third down, 10 yards to go. 7:07 to play third quarter. Clock is stopped. Third down, 10 yards to go. Two receivers to the left, a single man to the right. Shotgun for Brennan Jones. Raises his leg. Here's the snap. Drops back to pass. Cliff Strunk in pursuit. Here he goes. Down the field long. The Wildcats incomplete. Defending for Oak Ridge was Eric Williams out that way. It'll be for the Dragons. Fourth down, 10 yards to go.
Well, David, last time the Dragons were back in this position, they went with a fake. We'll see what they go with here. They're down 28-7. The Wildcats, I don't think we're going to see a fake here. DeAndre Johnson's going to drop back deep to receive the punt.
Coach Jimmy Gaylor traditionally is very conservative with his play calling, but this is a non-region ball game. It doesn't quite matter as much except for county pride here. See Brennan Jones out of the game, a little bit disgruntled after that series. Let's see what they can do. Punting the ball away. The Wildcats will send DeAndre Johnson. He's standing back at the 40-yard line, his own 40. Wildcats on the line. The Dragons to punt. Fourth down and 10, trailing 28-7. Low snap. Here's the kick. Line drive kick. Bounces towards the out-of-bounds area around the 40-yard line, officially out at the 38, right in front of the Oak Ridge bench across the way. It'll be Oak Ridge's offense coming onto the field once again. The Wildcats and the Dragons here. The Wildcats have won 19 out of the last 21 meetings between these two schools. The last time we were here, though, the Dragons won 6-0. That was that fine Clinton team that made it to the Clinic Bowl before losing to Gallatin in 1992. Oak Ridge, first down, 10 yards to go. The line of scrimmage, their own 37. Brett Kennedy, senior, wide to the right, along with DeAndre Johnson. The near sideline, the Wildcats moving from left to right. Oak Ridge from the eye, Jeff Miner at quarterback. He'll roll to his right, looks down the field, has a couple of men open. The pass is incomplete. Pass intended for Roy Howard, just a little bit underthrown. It's second down and 10.
Got to be impressed with Jeremy Brittle, David. He's really done just about everything for Clinton. I've said that a number of times tonight, I know, and I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but he's really given it us all tonight, both offensively and defensively for the Dragons, doing a good job punting that last punt in particular, and he kept it away from DeAndre, but at the same time had enough on it to get a good roll out of bounds and pin Oak Ridge, you know, pretty far back considering the fact that he punted the ball deep in his own territory.
Handoff to the fullback, goes forward for about maybe 2, maybe 3 yards. They stack him up at the 40-yard line. It'll be third down, 8 yards to go. 6.5 minutes to play here in the third quarter. The Wildcats of Oak Ridge on top 28-7. The Dragons jumped on the board first, 7-0. The Wildcats put 4 unanswered touchdowns on the board.
The Wildcats, David, in this situation throughout the entire contest have gone to Roy Howard predominantly in these third down situations. We'll see if Oak Ridge, what they come up with here. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go with a little rollout pass, maybe look down the field for Roy Howard, but check off to him.
It's a big game in their region. 6:06 to play, third down, 7 yards to go. Backfield split, wide receivers left and right. Quarterback Jeff Miner has some pressure, goes across the way, pass complete to Sean Williams at the 50, to the 45, hit at the 40-yard line, tackled at the 39, first down, 10 yards to go. One of the few times the Wildcats have thrown to their tailback, Sean Williams.
Well, it's a beautifully designed play, David. The Wildcats coming up with all the stops tonight. They went to Sean Williams out of the backfield, had his man set up for a huge juke right here at the 40-yard line, but unfortunately the pursuit from the backside for the Dragons was able to bring him down. But a big gain for Oak Ridge. Once again, a third down conversion. These are the kinds of conversions that great teams make, David, the kinds of conversions that teams that go far along in the playoffs make, the third down and 7, the third down and 8, and they come away with it that time with another big play. Sean Williams with the reception.
Miner will pass again. This one to Torrey Yancey. Nice catch at the 35-yard line, tackled at the 34. Torrey Yancey on the reception for the Wildcats. 5 minutes, 26 seconds to play. We're in the third quarter, 28-7. The Wildcats on top, driving for perhaps another score as they're at the Dragon 34. The Wildcats have just substituted quite freely in this ballgame. I want to talk about that here in a second. It's Brett Kennedy wide to the right side. DeAndre alongside him on the right side from the eye. The tailback, it goes to the fullback, and I believe that's Bo McGregor as he moves the ball across the 30-yard line up to the 28. I'm going to be very, very careful, Michael, every time I call the fullback's name, because last week I gave Bo McGregor some credit for a touchdown run, and it was William Dickey. This time I'm going to let you make the mistake or make the proper call, and usually when you do it, it's very proper. This time it was indeed Bo McGregor. He's short of the first down by about a yard or so. It'll be third down, less than a yard to go. 4:35 to play third quarter. 28-7 the score. Two receivers to the right once again, Doug Anderson and DeAndre Johnson. The quarterback sneaks forward for the first down. Jeff Miner on the carry. First and 10 Wildcats here at Clinton. The Wildcats on top, 28-7. And fireworks are going off early here. The Wildcats on top, 28-7. The Dragons once again facing a Wildcat drive. They keep continuing to work down the clock. The Wildcats have it. First down, 10 yards to go. Jeff Wise, our engineer, back at the station. Mike McNeely will have his scoreboard show immediately following the ball game. We'll also be talking to Joe Gaddis. Two receivers to the right, Torrey Yancey and DeAndre Johnson. Here's the pitch to Sean Williams. Hit, bounces off a tackle, moves the ball to the 24-yard line. Not a whole lot of yardage for Sean Williams, and I mentioned earlier that most of his yards have been hard-fought for yards tonight. And I didn't hear what Mike said, how many yards he had in the first half, but they were hard-fought. He had an 81-yard kickoff return, but some hard-fought yards gained on the ground.
Well, absolutely, David. Sean Williams is a very, very tough runner. I believe he had 45 yards in the first half on, I believe, 9 carries, if I'm not mistaken. And he has really earned a lot of praise. He's really earned every accolade that he's going to get tonight as the Wildcats drop back. Miner in trouble, tucks it under, has running room at the 25-yard line, down to the 20, needs a block, almost gets it from DeAndre as he's dragged down at the 21-yard line. It looks like they're going to mark him down. And Oak Ridge, it looks like, once again, are going to be a couple of yards short of the first down.
And it's going to be, let's see, third down as they officially put him down at the 22-yard line. Third down about 5. 3 minutes, 7 seconds to play in the third quarter. 28-7 Oak Ridge. All the scoring taking place for the Wildcats after in the 3 touchdowns in the second quarter, a single touchdown on the first. No scoring by either team here in the third quarter. From the eye, the fullback is William Dickey. Sean Williams, the tailback. And the pitch will go to Williams. Gets a block from Dickey. He's at the 20. He's at the 15-yard line. Another Oak Ridge first down. Another great third down conversion, as Michael mentioned a moment ago, for the Oak Ridge Wildcats. And the drive continues. The clock continues to tick down. We're down to 2:38 to go. And some of the Dragon faithful beginning to think that it's going to be the same song 20th time in 22nd tries.
David, that's certainly a very large possibility at this point with Oak Ridge on top, 28-7. 28-7, but just sort of keep your eyes on the pile as they unpile themselves each and every time. The Dragons seem to be a little slow getting up. As I pointed out earlier, they have a lot of guys going both ways. The Wildcats, a very, very deep team. I think the Dragons starting to get a little bit tired.
Jeff Miner will pass across the way to the right side. Pass batted down by the Dragons. Number 26 on the play, Walt Blankenship. 2:16 to play. 28-7 the score. We're in the third quarter. The Wildcats driving. It's been a very impressive drive, a time-consuming drive. Many conversions on it. They're at the 15-yard line. Kennedy stays in the ballgame. Torrey Yancey comes out. Doug Anderson in the ballgame. He'll be a wide out to the right. Jody Dickens, the senior center, the first man to the line. Brett Kennedy wide to the left. Sean Williams, William Dickey in the backfield behind the quarterback, Jeff Miner, and Miner will drop back to pass. Looks in the end zone, goes across the way, batted down again. Pass intended to his fullback, William Dickey, and the pass is incomplete. It'll be third down and 10 yards to go. 2:10 to play. Third quarter, 28-7 the score.
David, a nicely set up screen that time by the Wildcats. They had Roy Howard on the right side. He was defensed well by the Dragons. Jeff Miner looked at him, then looked back to the left side to William Dickey, who was open in the flat. But you really have to give credit to the Clinton Dragons that time. Had an outstanding play coming up to knock that pass down. I didn't see who the player was that got a hand on the ball, but it was a nice defensive play for the Dragons.
Keith Thrift and Brett Kennedy wide to the right side. Here's a pass in the end zone to Roy. What a catch! Touchdown, Oak Ridge. Beautiful catch by Roy Howard. He went up and got it, pulled it down, and 6 more on the board for Big Roy.
Boy, he's just unbelievable, David. He's such a talented athlete, able to go in amongst 2 and 3 defenders that time, go up high, and the confidence that Jeff Miner has in Roy is just unbelievable. I mean, when he's in trouble and other receivers are covered, even sometimes Roy's covered, he has the confidence just to go to him and let him use his athletic ability to make the catch. And about 9 or almost 100% of the time, Roy Howard's going to make the catch like he did that time. Brilliant catch for Oak Ridge's Roy Howard. 34-7. Here's Granger with a kick. It's up and good. And the Wildcats lead it 35-7. 2 minutes, 1 second to play in the third quarter, and we'll be back in 60 seconds. Roy Howard. Receiving yard for Roy Howard.
No, don't do that. Back here at Clinton, here's the kick by the Wildcats, Eduardo Rivera. Fielded by the Dragons at the 15, to the 20, 25. Oh, big stick at the 27-yard line, and that's where and Joe Gaddis Jr. there for the stop. Sean Bohannon and Chad Lucier around the play. It'll be first down, 10 yards to go for the Dragons, who are losing 35-7 here with 1:54 to play in the third quarter. I think the bad taste that Coach Gaddis had in his mouth after they left the last time back in 1992 here is turning sweet as candy here tonight. 1:51 to go, 35-7 the score.
Well, Oak Ridge has certainly come out tonight, David, and done an outstanding job executing the game plan, both offensively and defensively. Clinton did a good job there on their opening drive in which they scored and took the lead, but the Wildcats have done an outstanding job since then. And here's just a big stick right at the line of scrimmage. No, he's going to keep the ball. As Clinton's going to pick up a first down. Jeremy Brittle, that was a good fake that time by Brennan Jones. Faked me way out. And David, back to you. That time you were actually right.
And it's a first down run up to the 39-yard line. And 1:27 to play in the third quarter, 35-7 the score. One thing that I noticed on that play, everybody kind of bunched up in the middle, and you called it well, but he was able to break to the outside. Backfield split, 2 receivers to the left. 1:12 to play from the 39-yard line. Handoff again goes to Brittle. He tries to get around the corner. He's hit hard. His own man involved. The stop is made. Kenneth Jackson along with Jamie Martin. Also around the stop, Brad Redmond, Travis Maddox, and Torrey Yancey.
That time it looked like Jamie Martin, David, came up and delivered a big lick to Jeremy Brittle. That time the two met going just about full speed, and Martin appears to be a little shaken up, but he really delivered a big lick, a big tackle for Jamie Martin coming from the Oak Ridge secondary.
44 seconds to play, third quarter. It's been all Oak Ridge since the first touchdown the Dragons scored. It's 35-7. Backfield split, shotgun formation, actually. The quarterback will hand it off on a little draw to Brittles. He breaks free across the 50. Fumbles the ball at the 40. The Wildcats say they have it at the 46. Do they? No signal by the guys in black and white. They signal yes. Oak Ridge, first down, 10 yards to go. And Brittle turns the ball over again. And somebody's dead on their back on the field at the 46-yard line. 25 seconds to go. Mike, while we have the chance here, we'd like to say hello to Don Dorsey, disabled World War II veteran listening back in Oak Ridge. Hello, Don Dorsey. 25 seconds to go as they attend to this injured Dragon. Back here at Clinton, the Wildcats, first down, 10 yards to go at the 45-yard line. Jeff Miner, Scott Lamuno at quarterback, and the handoff goes for little yardage at all. And then somebody comes in late for the Dragons. It'll be, let's see, second down and about 9 yards to go.
You can almost guarantee, David, that this is going to pick up the intensity and the hitting on the part of the Clinton Dragons. They're going to be very fired up after their fallen teammate has been taken off the field. They're going to be very, very juiced up. There's no doubt about that. That time the player came in and just laid a huge...
Here at Clinton, the opening play of the fourth quarter, an incomplete pass from quarterback Scott Lamuno to Joe Storch. Incomplete, third down, 9 yards to go.
David, an encouraging sign as Jeremy Brittle was taken off the field. He was moving his arms okay. I mean, he was completely immobilized the whole time he was down on the field, but he was moving his arms, giving the thumbs-up signal as he was taken off the field. Very emotional moment for the Clinton Dragons, and certainly let's hope that that is a sign of the fact that he's okay.
Third down, 9 yards to go. Scott Lamuno at quarterback. The pitch will go to the tailback. That's Sean Bohannon, and he's at the 50, down to the 45-yard line, short of the first down by about a yard. It'll be fourth down and 1 yard to go.
Sean Bohannon, he's just going to be a great one here at Oak Ridge, David. An outstanding job for him as he just took it up the middle, cut it back, picked up great yardage. It's going to be fourth down and 1. The Wildcat offense is going to remain on the field. They're going to go for this one as Joe Gaddis Jr. comes in. Bill Brock checks out. Wildcats getting a host of new players in the ballgame. We'll try to get all those new numbers as we get them up here.
Up to the line, Scott Lamuno. Fourth down, about a yard and a half to go. I formation from the 46-yard line. The pitch to Bohannon. They're waiting for him, but he falls forward. They drive him back right at the line of scrimmage, depending on the spot.
Oh, that's a terrible spot.
Yeah, well, that's the way it usually goes sometimes. The spots have not been the best. Sean Bohannon, I think, did penetrate a little bit better than they did, but they're going to be short of the first down. First down, 10 yards to go for the Dragons.
That's about one of the worst spots I think I've ever seen. I mean, he clearly had forward progress. It was much further than that, but perhaps he had a knee down we just didn't see, David. But the Dragons nevertheless take over. Big defensive stop for them. There's still a whole entire quarter left here. The Dragons have been in the shotgun formation a lot here in the ball game, so they're obviously comfortable running it. They can put points up quickly from that shotgun formation, just throwing the football, but they're not going to come up with it here. Under center, quarterback Brendan Jones.
Wide receivers left and right. First down and 10 at the 45-yard line. Brendan Jones hands it off to his new running back, who lowers his shoulder and is tackled at the 48-yard line by the Wildcats. Brad Redmond was the man who made the second hit. Torrey Yancey made the first stop, and the tackle was made by Torrey. It'll be a gain on the play of about 4. It'll be second down, a long 5 to go for a first. 10 minutes, 29 seconds to play. We're in the fourth quarter, 35-7 Oak Ridge. Backfield, let's see, a new running back, of course, and that on the last carry, I think, was Brian Fox, I believe. And the tailback is Sean Smith. And here's Brennan Jones. The pass across the way. Pass intercepted by Oak Ridge. The Wildcat Stan Sisk makes the interception at the 35-yard line. It's Oak Ridge, first down, 10 yards to go.
Well, David, I was just about to point out the fact that Stan Sisk was playing middle linebacker. Brad Redmond also in the ball game, along with Justin Fry and Matt Shepard. And that time it was Stan from his middle linebacker slot after the deflection, picking up the interception for Oak Ridge. Outstanding defense for the sophomore.
And the Wildcats already lead at 35-7. Scott Lamuno back on the field. Let's see what he can do behind center. And Michael is quickly running down some of the other new Wildcats that are in the ball game. Some of the fans from the Clinton side of things heading out. Joe Gaddis Jr. wide to the left, which is the near side to us. Single man wide to the right. Backfield split for Oak Ridge. Lamuno will pass to Joe Gaddis. Complete. He drops it. Pass intended for Gaddis at the 40-yard line. Started to run perhaps a little bit before he made the catch. It's incomplete. Second down, 10 yards to go.
Nate Fisher in the ball game, David, for Oak Ridge. Keith Thrift checking in at a receiver position. That's just a couple of the players that are in the ball game right now for Oak Ridge. Adam Atkinson on the field for the Wildcats. He's gotten some playing time, of course, earlier in the ball game. Just calling his name out for I believe maybe the first time tonight. Be sure and call Adam's name out. He's thrown some nice blocks on the course of the evening. I believe Will Chambers also in there at a left guard position.
From the I, Oak Ridge, Sean Bohannon, the tailback. From the I, 2nd down and 10. The pitch will go to Bohannon, gets a big block. He's at the 40, moves the ball to the 43-yard line. It'll be 3rd down at about 7 yards to go, and he ran right over the top of somebody who's slow to get up to the Dragons. Sean Bohannon, a nice hard carry. Mike Gibson comes back into the game with the play. Keith Thrift checks out. Storch out of the ball game for the Wildcats. Gibson gives the play to Lamuno. The ball's at the 43-yard line. 3rd down, 4 yards to go. The Wildcats on top 35-7. After trailing 7-0, the Wildcats have scored 5 unanswered touchdowns. Lamuno, 3rd down and 4. Backfield from the I. Here's movement on the line of scrimmage by the Wildcats, and that's going to cost them 5.
Clinton did a good job that time, David, coming up to the line of scrimmage, showing blitz. The player looked bluffed across the line of scrimmage, trying to draw Oak Ridge off sides, and they were successful that time, and they'll push Oak Ridge back 5 yards.
Penalty, 5-yard step off against the Wildcats, back to the 37-yard line. 9 minutes to play in the ball game. 35-7 Oak Ridge. The Wildcats with Bill Brock and Mike Gibson, 2 sophomores from Jefferson, wide to the left side, which is the near side. Oak Ridge from the I. Scott Lamuno, the senior quarterback, from the 37. 3rd down, about 10 yards to go. Lamuno will pitch to Bohannon on the sweep. Doesn't go for much, about 3, maybe 4. It'll be 4th down facing the Wildcats, and Roy Howard will come into the game to punt the ball away.
Big Ernest Scruggs looked like he was in on the tackle that time for the Dragons, David. He's a big guy, got back there in the backfield and wreaked some havoc on the Wildcats. Was able to slow down Sean Bohannon just enough to let the Dragon teammates get there and bring him down short of the 1st down. Looks like Roy Howard's going to be called on to punt for the Wildcats.
And indeed, that is the case. 4th down, about 6. Good snap, no pressure. Roy with a kick. High wobbly kick, angling off to the right side, takes a bounce at around the 30-yard line, rolls dead at the 27. That's where Clinton will have it. 1st down, 10 yards to go. 8:06 to play in the ball game. 35-7 the score. At the conclusion of the game, we'll have the head coach of the Wildcats, Coach Joe Gaddis. We'll be talking with him. We'll also look at Mike Sheehan's final statistics. We'll have Mike McNeely with scores of interest. We'll also have the scoring recap. Lots of things to do. It's kind of a late evening, getting to be a little bit later because of the injured Dragon on the field. But it'll be Clinton 1st down, 10 yards to go.
David, you know, we really should thank Mike Sheehan an awful lot here on the air for doing a great job with our statistics. We didn't have a statistician as of about 15 minutes before the game, but Mike was asked to do it, and he did it. He responded, and of course had no hesitations and did it, and he's done a great job, no question about it. Here's the completion to the Dragons, and now a late hit is going to be called against Oak Ridge as the completion was made to the Dragon. He was on his knees. Then the Wildcat came and hit him down to the turf. A little bit late, but the Wildcats pick up the penalty.
Well, I don't think that's really too fair because the man made the contact from the rear. He had no idea whether the guy had his knees on the ground or not. He was standing there with the ball. Nobody had touched him, and the penalty's called. It's kind of a close call, probably an accurate call, but for the guy coming from the rear, I don't know if that should be called in that situation. If we hadn't had the injured player earlier, we might not have had it, as they do walk the ball to the 46-yard line.
I agree with you 100%. Had it not been for the injury earlier, I don't think that's called. I didn't hear a whistle sound at that point, and it was maybe a little bit late, but nevertheless it was called, and the penalty was marked off. The Dragons have great field position.
Brennan Jones will pass across the way, incomplete. Intended for, let's see, Chad Lucier defending. It was intending for somebody who staggers as he gets back up. That's Brian Martin as he goes back to the huddle. The Wildcats have laid out some licks here tonight against the Clinton Dragons, and that's something they did in the Jefferson County and the Campbell County games. This group is a hard-hitting bunch of Wildcats.
They really are, David, and this unit that's on the field right now is a younger unit. Jamil Dye, Stan Sisk, and Brad Redmond, the linebackers. Vel Brock, Chad Lucier, excuse me, in the secondary for Oak Ridge, just to name a few. Jamie Martin back. A young group out there, but they're a very talented bunch. There's no question about that.
Shotgun for Brennan Jones. Here comes a little pressure, and Jones in trouble. Gets away. Now will run. Tucks it under and is tackled hard at the 39-yard line. Short of the 1st down by about 4. It'll be 3rd down, maybe 3 yards to go, as Jamel Dye there for the stop, along with a few other Wildcats. Stan Sisk, along with Matt Shepard for the stop. 6:58 to play, 35-7 the score. David Cleary, Michael Langenberg. Our engineer is Jeff Wise. Mike McNeely also back at the station. Four-man front for the Wildcats. The Dragons up to the line. Single man wide to the right side. Holbrook is the man wide to the right. Backfield from the shotgun once again. Brennan Jones, third down, about 3 yards to go. Here's the snap. Here's the draw. Here's the run. It's first down yardage at the 30 to the 25. This tackle is made at the 23. Nice play. First down, 10 yards to go for the Dragons on the draw. And with 6:27 to play, the Dragons have it first and 10.
I believe it was Sean Smith that time with the run, David. The Dragons did a good job at disguising it as the quarterback dropped back, of course, holding the ball up around his face mask as if to pass, and then just sort of dropped the handoff down low to the running back, who ran hard right up the middle and picked up a big first down for the Dragons.
6:20 and counting. The ball at the 25-yard line. Shotgun once again. Brennan Jones. Wildcats on defense, a very young unit. Quarterback Jones pumps once, goes into the end zone, incomplete. Well defended by the Wildcats, and I believe it'll be second down 10. I think it's Jamie Martin back there defending.
Yeah, it was, David. It was Jamie Martin back there nicely in good defensive position for Oak Ridge. Justin Fry that time going up against one of the bigger Clinton linemen, almost got the sack that time, got in the defensive backfield and got in the face of Brennan Jones, maybe forcing him to put a little more air under that one than he would have liked to have. And, of course, that's great news if you're an Oak Ridge defensive back. The more air under the ball, the more time you have to get there and make the interception, which is what Jamie Martin almost did.
Brennan Jones, second down, 10. Here's the snap, drops back to pass.
No call.
Across the middle, pass, incomplete. Intended again to Alan Wink, who had broken free. The pass is a little bit overthrown. It'll be third down, 10 yards to go.
Wouldn't be surprised to see a big sack here on this next play, David. Everybody knows that Oak Ridge or rather Clinton is going to throw the ball. They may come back with that draw, and I may be wrong here, but the Wildcats have had good pressure back in the defensive backfield. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get to Jones on this particular play.
35-7 Oak Ridge. We're down to 5:58 to play in the ball game. The Dragons with the ball at the 24-yard line. Jody Barnett, 340 pounds in the game for the Wildcats on the line. On the left side, Brennan Jones under center this time from the eye. Wide receivers left and right. And Jones will drop back to pass. Across the way, pass is caught. Stick is made at the 16-yard line. And that should be enough for the first down. The stop made by Jamie Martin. Back there as well is Chad Lucier, Jamel Dye, and Bill Brock. They give him a good spot, proper spot. Should be a first down. They're going to bring the chains on anyway. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Michael Langenberg, Jeff Wise, and Mike McNeely. It is indeed a first down for the Dragons, and they'll come to the line, which is the 14-yard line of Oak Ridge. Brennan Jones with a running back behind him. That's Sean Smith. Fox in the ball game as well. Jones fakes the handoff, rolls to his left, pumps once, tries to go to the corner. Now will run. He's hit and spins out and then dropped at the sideline and around the 5-yard line. It'll be a fine run. He probably, if he had decided right away to run in, he probably would have scored the touchdown. Continue to look for receivers in the end zone. He gains good yardage on the play, about 6. It'll be second down and about 4 yards to go.
Well, Jones did pick up good yardage on the play, David. I guess it's better than turning the ball over. The Wildcats had pretty good coverage, and Jones was just looking and continued to look. And you're right, maybe if he'd have decided just to tuck it up, maybe he would have picked up more yardage, but the Dragons need to put up points. I guess he just didn't want to take the scramble. I guess he was looking in the end zone, and that time the Wildcats did a good job of stringing him out and preventing him from getting too far. Because here's the handoff up the middle. Smith with the ball, and he'll be dragged down from behind. Nice tackle by Stan Sisk.
Yes, indeed it was, as he makes the stop, and there they have another man down on the play, and Sean Smith was the ball carrier. He gets up a little bit slow. He moves the ball close to the, I guess it's around the 7-yard line, maybe closer to the 6. It'll be third down, about 2 yards to go for the Clinton Dragons, trailing, headed for a loss here. 35-7 the score, 4:51 to play. The Wildcats will up their record to 3-0. The Dragons will fall to 1-2. Brennan Jones under center. Fox and Smith in the backfield. Wide receivers left and right. Here's Brennan Jones rolling, diving, scoring for the Dragons. Nice play. They had him initially in the backfield. He was able to elude that tackle and scamper in for the Dragons score.
There's a nice run that time by Brennan Jones, David. Oak Ridge almost had him in the backfield once again. Justin Fry made a great move off the line of scrimmage, but Jones had just already passed him right as soon as he created separation from the defensive man. Almost brought him down on a great play, but Jones had already sort of gotten by and then went in for the touchdown. A great effort on the part of Justin Fry and the Wildcats, but Brennan Jones that time had the blocking and was able to get in for 6.
35-13, and they'll go for 2 here in this situation with 4:33 to play. The Wildcats on top 35-13. Receivers left and right. Brennan Jones rolling to his left, will pass in the end zone, intercepted. The 2-point conversion try fails. The pass is intercepted by Chad Lucier. The Wildcats on top 35-13, and we'll be back with a kickoff in 60 seconds. No. David Cleary, Michael Langenberg back here at Clinton as the Dragons prepare with the onside kick. 35-13, here it is. It's not an onside kick. He just drives it hard. Mike Gibson fields it at the 20, 25. Nice block. Needs to get outside. Oh, he tries to turn the corner. If he can get around the corner, he'll go. He's to the 30, to the 35, to the 40, to the 45-yard line. Driven out of bounds. Fine return by Mike Gibson. What a speed man he is. Once he got to the outside, I think those Clinton players thought that, oh, we're going to get him here. He was able to get around the corner and pick up a great return.
Completely reversed his field, David. Came from all the way within about 10 or 15 yards of the near sideline and ended up getting knocked out of bounds on the far sideline. Came all the way across the field, went all the way across the field, and in doing so picked up about 30 yards on the return. An outstanding athletic ability on the part of the sophomore, Mike Gibson. He's going to be another exciting one here in the next couple of years to watch. He, along with Vel Brock and Sean Bohannon, just to name a couple. Stan Sisk has already had an interception in tonight's ball game. He's just a sophomore. The Wildcats are really stocked and loaded here for the future.
First down, 10 yards to go. Scott Lamuno rolling to his right, hands it off to his fullback, Stan Sisk, who moves the ball into Dragon territory up to the 46-yard line. 2 weeks ago in the junior varsity game, Stan Sisk had over 100 yards from his fullback position. He has an interception already to his credit in this ball game, and 7 yards gained on that one. More like 6, I guess. It's second down and 4. 3:57 to play. 35-13, Oak Ridge on top. Joe Gaddis wide to the left side, which is the near side, along with Mike Gibson. I formation. Lamuno under center. Second down, about 4 yards to go. Lamuno from the 47-yard line. Here's movement by Clinton. Flags are down on the play.
Indeed they are, David. Scott Lamuno, I think he's really done an outstanding job every time he's gotten an opportunity to play with his cadence. It seems like each time that he's gotten in there, his cadence has drawn somebody off sides, and that's certainly a strength of Scott. He's certainly shown that he can do that, and that time he drew Clinton off sides. You know, Stan Sisk getting back to him. He's a very good athlete, a great baseball player as well. He's a good, big, strong kid, and that last run that he had of 6 yards prior to the offsides penalty, he hit the hole really hard. He's going to be a good runner here from a fullback position for Oak Ridge in the years to come, and a good blocker as well because he's got good strength.
Joe Gaddis and Mike Gibson wide to the left. Scott Lamuno changing the play perhaps at the line of scrimmage. First down, 10 yards to go at the 40-yard line. 3.5 minutes to play in the ball game. The pitch will go to the tailback, who's in there. That's Dye. He's at the 35. Down he goes to around the 34-yard line. And Oak Ridge, Jamil Dye, a former Clinton Dragon himself, moves the ball inside the 35. It'll be a gain on the play of about 5 yards or more like 7. It'll be second down and 3 yards to go.
Clinton that time had a couple players coming in late, David. Almost looked kind of blatant, really, to be honest with you. I mean, might as well be honest here on the radio, but that time had a few players piling in late. We hope, you know, after the injury to the Clinton player, it's obviously very unfortunate, but we don't want to have another injury later on in this ball game.
Caleb Thompson, I believe, wide to the left side. Here's the handoff to the fullback, Stan Sisk, who moves the ball to the 31-yard line. Very close to an Oak Ridge first down. You're right, the Dragon temper is beginning to flare out there. This is a big ball game for both of these two teams. The Wildcats have dominated the series over the last 22 meetings. The Wildcats have won 20 of them, with only 2 losses in 1986 and in 1992. 35-13 the score, 2:25 to play. Vel Brock in the ball game as a wide receiver. It's third down, about 1.5 yards to go. Mike Gibson to the right side, Vel Brock to the left. Jamil Dye, the tailback. The fullback is Stan Sisk. The quarterback is Scott Lamuno. From the 32, Scott sneaks and picks up the first down. Across the 30, down to the 28-yard line. Scott Lamuno, positive yardage and an Oak Ridge first down.
And nice choice that time by Scott Lamuno. I'm not sure if that was a called play or if he just took it, realized that he could pick up the first down, but it was a good run for Oak Ridge to keep the clock moving here. And at this point, the Wildcats are just trying to look sharp, look crisp here in the last couple of plays, and hopefully grind out some first downs and just get out of here before this one could possibly get dirty.
Storch and Gaddis wide to the right side. Tim Miner, the fullback, here on the left side. From the eye, the Wildcats, Scott Lamuno, 1st and 10. Scott will roll to his right. Looks down the field. Has his fullback, but will run. Flags are down on the play. He's at the 20. Lowers his shoulder and runs it inside the 20-yard line to the 15. I think they're going to call this one back, though.
I believe there's a hold against Oak Ridge, David. We'll just have to wait and see. Indeed, that's going to be the case. Wildcats holding, so this one's going to come back. Wildcats went with a little play-action bootleg pass, and boy, the options looked good on that particular play. Scott could have run for big yardage just like he did, but also Stan Sisk was open, and once Scott tucked it away, it was good to see Stan Sisk get downfield and throw some blocks. But I guess it's all for naught as the penalty will bring this one back.
And with a minute 37 to play here in the ball game, it's 35-13. Line of scrimmage will be at the 46-yard line. Line of scrimmage, the 44-yard line of the Dragons. Up to the line, Velbrock wide to the left. Mike Gibson wide to the right. Stan Sisk and Dye in the backfield. Lamuno with a minute 26 to play. His team on top, 35-13. The Wildcats will be 3-0 after this one. Headed to a region ball game tomorrow. Lamuno wants to pass. Plenty of time. Goes down to Velbrock. The pass is there. Touch! No, he dropped it. Dropped the ball right at the 5-yard line. That would have been an easy touchdown. Lamuno hit him right on the numbers. Tough break for Velbrock.
Boy, a beautiful pass by Scott Lamuno, David. He just really put a lot of air under it, and you have to give credit to Scott on that play. And boy, Vel, a sophomore player, that would have been a huge touchdown for him, and that's one that, you know, he'll probably never drop another pass again as long as he's at Oak Ridge, but that one's one that he certainly would have loved to have had.
Tim Miner comes out of the ball game. Up to the line of scrimmage will come the Wildcats. Looks like Pendergrass is the new center. Let's see, up to the line from the eye once again. Second down, 25 yards to go from the 44-yard line. This time it goes to Stan Sisk, and he tries to go inside. Makes a spin move to the outside, rumbling down inside the 35, down to the 32. Ball is on the ground. Late tackle. It'll be third down facing the Wildcats. We're down to a minute to go now. Clock ticking down here. 35-13. The Wildcats saw the Dragons score first. We'll run down all the scoring at the conclusion of the ball game. Mike McNeely will have scores of other ball games. We'll have Mike Sheehan's final statistics, and we'll also speak to the head coach of the Wildcats, Coach Joe Gaddis. And we'll also have the expert analysis of Michael Langenberg. Two receivers to the left side, Joe Gaddis and Mike Gibson. Oak Ridge from the eye, third down, about 14 yards to go from the 34-yard line. Lamuno fakes, looks down the field to Mike Gibson. This one goes to Mike Gibson. He makes the catch. He's at the 5. He's in the end zone. Touchdown, Oak Ridge. This time, Scott Lamuno gets the touchdown, and the Wildcats sophomore Mike Gibson scores on a beautifully thrown pass by Scott Lamuno, and the Wildcats lead it now by a score of 41-13.
And that was a nicely executed play right there, David. Isn't it funny how sports sometimes work? I mean, Scott throws a beautifully tight spiral down the sidelines and has it go incomplete. Then the next time throws one that maybe isn't as tight a spiral as the last one, and the coverage is maybe a little better by Clinton, but Mike Gibson was able to make the catch and go in for a touchdown. Big play for Oak Ridge, and once again, Granger Marler comes onto the field to try his 7th extra point.
The Wildcats up 41-13. As I mentioned, we'll have a recap of all the scoring at the conclusion of the ball game. Heading towards about 10 o'clock, so we're running a little bit late tonight. 34-yard touchdown reception, I believe. Here's the kick by Granger. It's on its way off to the left side. No good. So our score, with 21 seconds to go in the ball game. Jason Altman to kick off for the Wildcats. Jim Vine just made an analogy that all sophomores on the field for the Wildcats. Here's the kick by Altman to the 5, to the 10, to the 15-yard line. Oh, a big stick made at around the 25-yard line, and that's where the Dragons will take over. First down and 10 yards to go. All sophomore group. I see Charlie Graham coming off the field. Bill Brock still out there. Host of new players. Gaddis comes in. Bohannon, along with a couple of other Wildcats. Down to 13 seconds. 41-13. The Wildcats lead. The Clinton Dragons heading for a 3-0 record in a game in the region next week against Central. Clock is ticking down, 10 seconds to go. The Dragons in no real hurry here. They're going to let it tick on down. The game is going to come to a close here. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, and the Wildcats win it by a final score of 41-13. Pandemonium reigns as the Oak Ridge cheering section rises to the big rival.